This is the Millennials Podcast.
Hey guys, this is episode.
Oh my God, are you serious? It was silent. 3, 2, 1.
Sorry.
I'm gonna intro you, girl. All right. Again. Hey guys, it's us, the Millennials, and we are recording episode 6. But before we get to that, we had a singles episode that I didn't get to be a part of, but Lauren was a part of it, and she got to do an awesome social experiment, and she actually used technology, and she's gonna give us a little update on how that went.
Yeah, I had it for a week and a half.
Tinder. We're talking about Tinder.
Yeah, I made a Tinder, and I gotta say that I was so stressed out in the process of making this profile. I was like, okay, I gotta pick the right pictures. I have to write the perfect description of who I am. Who am I? I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I want to know what it said.
Yeah, let's.
I don't even remember. It was some BS.
Do you not have it anymore?
Hi, I'm a dancer, teacher, musician / singer. I like good food, wine, and to laugh, and good friends, blah, 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 blah.
I like good friends.
All that kind of stuff. It was weird because it kind of felt like a game at first because everybody probably knows what it is. You just swipe through a card deck of human faces.
I love game. Another game. Do you guys remember that?
No.
From the 70s?
No.
Bachelor number 1, 2, and 3?
The weird guy from House of...
No one remembers. Let's move on.
Do you love me? What's his name? Old Greg.
Old Greg.
Old Greg.
Do you
Wanna
love
see my
me?
mangina?
So I swiped a lot. I think I got carpal tunnel that week and a half
Oh dear.
from swiping left.
Jeez.
All swiping left. But then I realized, I was like, oh crap, this isn't a game, because if you match with somebody that they're an actual human and they're probably going to message you. And I was like, I'm going to start not swiping so much. I had a varying array of experiences. One guy asked me if I was a lesbian because of my haircut. I have a pixie haircut, for those of you who don't know. And I was like, bae. No. And then I had a couple of other guys that immediately asked me, hey, you want to come to my apartment on Friday? And I was like, bae, no. So, yeah.
And? So did you meet someone?
Waiting. So I decided that the lucky bachelor, I was like, okay,
You're gonna say bastard.
the lucky bastard. I narrowed it down to one person. I was like, okay, he doesn't seem as creepy or jerky as some of these other guys do. And so, yeah, we ended up meeting, and it was really nice.
And now you're pregnant.
And now I'm pregnant with his twins.
Jeez. Twins? I was gonna say twins too. Isn't that crazy?
1 week later. He's an alien. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I'm not getting my hopes up, but it was a fun experience. I learned a lot about how many weird people are out in the world.
Hello.
How many, yeah.
So you use technology to find someone you probably would have otherwise never met before.
Exactly.
You know what's pretty cool? Not to sound weird or whatever, but if you guys do become a thing, it's like, what an interesting way to say you started, like you met that person. I met so and so through a social experiment on a podcast.
I met you because of a joke. Yeah, basically. That's what it was.
Don't
No,
that was an experiment. It wasn't a joke.
It was
a
kind
joke.
of, but I had joked about it for weeks. I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I made a Tinder? Wouldn't that be just hilarious?
Yeah,
And
but
then I
what-
did.
If you say joke, I feel like you'd hurt his feelings. So don't say joke.
Yeah, let's not.
No, at that point it wasn't a joke. It was like, oh shoot, these are actually real people.
Does he not listen to the podcast? I'm just kidding.
If he doesn't listen to the podcast, this isn't gonna work.
I don't know.
He needs to know. All right, cool. Thanks for the update, Lauren.
That was cool. Great use of technology, by the way. That's great.
If you haven't noticed by now, our
Segue.
topic for today is technology.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's define that.
I think that needs to be defined because
What do you think
some
it is?
people.
Yeah, before we talk about it.
I think some people might think technology just means
Gadgets and
iPhones,
electronics.
Those are plenty. I got
But if you think that, you are wrong and probably dumb.
Stop.
Just kidding, not the last part.
I was dumb just like 5 seconds ago. Perfect.
All right. The application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes, especially in industry, is the main Google definition.
Google. Where's Miriam? I'm just kidding.
I don't know where Miriam is.
Miriam be knowing. You need Miriam.
Miriam.
So what's something that you wouldn't normally consider? You don't think someone would normally consider technology,
paper
like
and
the
pencil?
wheel?
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Fire, like Steven said earlier.
Oh yes, we have a guest.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, hi Steven.
Hey,
Lauren is
hey.
not the guest. Steven is the guest.
How's it going?
You work at Apple, right?
I do. I work at Apple, and I guess maybe for my well-being, I should probably say that anything I say in this podcast is of my own opinion and
Yeah.
accord, and not Apple's.
Yeah. He works for Apple. He's a poet, singer-songwriter,
Poet / musician /
author.
author /
Technician.
fiance / works at Apple.
Technology man.
Whatever I can
Sweet.
get my hands on, I guess.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Whatever
Thank you
get
for
your
coming.
hands
No, it's
on,
good to be
nice.
here. Seems really exciting.
Cool.
So,
So what-
technology.
What's something that you think is what most people would not consider a piece of technology?
Well, like Ashley said, fire. Because I don't know. It's really important to remember that any kind of tool or invention that is used at any point in time to sort of better humanity, or anything for that matter, can be considered technology. It doesn't have to be computer chips to be technology.
So like toilet paper.
Correct. Yeah.
So like pencil. I love pencils and paper.
Toilet paper. The toilet.
Yeah.
So
Man,
like
plumbing.
what if we
shoes.
didn't have
Oh my
toilet
gosh,
paper?
shoes.
We would have to use a freaking bidet every time.
I prefer bidet.
I think
Oh,
that might
God,
even
no.
be a technology.
Oh,
What's a
bidets are
bidet?
So
awesome. Have
they're-
you never used one?
Yes, they're so invasive.
I feel so clean afterwards.
Guys, what is a bidet?
All right, it's this thing you put on the toilet.
Uh-huh.
It shoots
and
water into your
It shoots
butthole.
water
So that's
at your
a tool,
butt.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's technology.
Yeah, he's just saying it's like.
Before, you used to have to like stand like at the river and splash yourself.
So,
and then use
or you
poison
just
ivy.
spread your cheeks and dip into the river.
Oh,
So-
God.
Yeah.
just like squat over and over
Until you were clean.
You
yeah.
just do a handstand underneath a waterfall
and hope that the leeches took care of it.
so discovery of how things work, is that considered technology? Because I mean, fire is its own thing. We don't really control it, but would you still consider that technology? Or
I think if like lightning hits a
Controlled?
tree and there's fire, yeah, it's natural. But if
We find a
man
way to-
creates fire, it's
and then you're using it to cook
tools.
food.
we discover
or-
a way of using it for our benefit.
Right, it becomes
lighters,
technology.
for example.
So
matches.
the river, would it be technology if we use it as a toilet, or would it still be just a river?
it's just a river.
It's a new technological river.
That's not how it works.
River 2.0.
Runs faster, cleaner.
Ashley, hit
less.
us with some stats.
You want some stats?
STAT.
Hit us with the stats, Ash.
Dang,
Ash with the stats.
That-
Ash with the stats. Ash with the stats. Ash with the stats.
Ash with the stats. Ash with
Go.
the stats. Oh.
Oh, I was gonna join a third part in there, but
Do it again. Do it again.
no. Let's not do it again.
Stop
Okay,
it, Dad.
Dad
Do
says
it.
no.
All right, Ma, talk.
Okay. Alrighty. According to Pew Research that was done in 2015, 68% of Americans have smartphones and 45% of them have tablet computers. Of those 68% of Americans that have smartphones, 86% of them are between the ages of 18 and 29. And if you've been a frequent listener, you know what age group that is and what generation they fit into. And I just find that so incredibly amazing and astonishing at the same time. Like, I feel like I got a smartphone like 2 years ago, maybe, but I know people that have had it for like years.
You were a
Yeah.
really late bloomer. Didn't
I
you just
was.
get
I got
cable when you
internet. I
married?
got internet at the house I grew up in when I was like 17 and a half
Yeah.
for the first time.
I got
Breaking my heart.
this very iPhone in 2013.
This very iPhone, what kind is it?
It's a 5S.
That's nice.
Yeah. I
don't
just
know
find that it's crazy. Like, people can't live without their phones. Like,
Yeah.
phones nowadays do everything.
If you
I literally run my business
if you
through
go
my
a day
phone.
with it off or dead or not with you, you can lose your job.
Yeah.
Depending on the job, yeah.
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 Lose your job, find your soul.
Amen.
Like,
Hey.
Let's all go on that journey, guys. Let's all turn off
good
our phones
one.
for one day.
I work a lot, so I don't get to just be on my phone as often as I used to, or
Snap
as
says
often as I
otherwise.
would like to. I didn't hear what you said, so I'm gonna keep trucking.
She said, Snap says otherwise.
Oh, because he snaps
I'm
some
just
cool.
I
kidding.
snap at work sometimes.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
no,
but
no,
I don't get to just like browse on my phone. But anyway, so sometimes my mom will try to contact me, and I don't live with her, and she'll try to contact me sometimes, and I can't answer the phone immediately, and I think to myself like, this is a luxury. This is not
Yeah,
something.
I know.
You being able to contact me at any point of the day is a luxury. That's not.
I know.
Yeah.
When I was younger
Something
and I would go out
normal.
with friends, like maybe junior high or freshman year of high school, my mom was like, call me when you get there, text me when you're okay, text me when you're leaving, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what did you do? Like,
Yeah, what did you do, Mom?
you
you know,
for your
years
mom? Did
ago,
you
she's like,
send
oh, we
mails?
didn't, I didn't do anything. I didn't even like go to the payphone and tell my mom at like 2 a.m. that I was out. And I was like, and when was that? She's like, when I was like 15. And I'm like, okay, so if you were okay then, I'm okay now. I'm just going
Mom,
to the
I'm
falls.
married now. Let it go, Mom.
Technology is one thing though, but isn't it crazy how like moms always seem to call at the most inconvenient times?
Yes.
How
Oh
is
my
that? Like,
gosh.
Mom, I literally just started what I was about to do. How did you know to call me right now?
That's very, very true. I tell my mom. She listened to one episode so far.
Uh-oh. Be careful what you say.
Sorry, Mom.
And
No, it's okay.
And if she's listening, she'll laugh because I'll have nothing the whole day. Like if it's a Saturday, nothing's going on, right? And then someone will knock at the door.
And
My
Mom
mom's
calls you.
calling. I'm like, are you
See,
serious?
the way
right
you
now?
beat that to the punch is you call Mom when you're doing nothing.
No, and then she called you
Oh.
back. She's like, oh, to finish our conversation. I had another thought.
my thing that I always tell my mom is I have a brother that lives in New York, and I'm just like, Mom, you don't know what Brian is doing at any point of the day. You have no idea. Like,
Yeah.
you're only worried about me because I live down here.
You're just a proximity son.
Yeah. Oh. That just
Sorry
hit
about
me.
that. Jeez.
That hit me too.
All right, I need a break
I'm
from
not
the
even-
podcast for a second. I'm gonna get more Fireball.
If you move away,
No, you can't mention them until they sponsor us.
Oh yeah, I'm not drinking any Fireball.
But he is really cool. All right, cool. Let's talk about technology.
that's something a coworker of mine always complains about. Actually, what you guys were saying, like just because you have a phone and people can call you and text you doesn't mean that they have access to you 24/7. Like,
Hey, yeah, that's good.
yeah, he
like
feels
that.
like he's not a fan of
Yes.
texting,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like when people text and then you don't answer within a couple hours
keep on
and they get
texting,
angry.
texting.
He's like, you have no
Hours.
right to get
More like
angry at
minutes.
me. Like, yeah.
Yeah, now
exactly.
everything is I texted her, 2 minutes ago. She hasn't texted back. She's definitely dead or has been kidnapped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
Oh my
hates me.
goodness.
Yeah,
that's
or
so
hates
true,
me,
man.
and our whole
doesn't
4
respect me.
years of dating or whatever has down the
Yeah.
tube because
Yeah.
oh my gosh, she hasn't texted me back.
I think our that does something to a generation. I think like our
For
generation,
sure.
the fact that anyone can respond to you at any moment, and when they don't, that affects us so bad. Like
We've become
that's
so
something-
dependent on it.
Yeah, that's unique
Your
to
feelings
millennials.
get hurt. Yeah.
I think.
But with that, would you rather have the phone or not?
Oh, for sure, have it.
You don't think people wrote letters back in the day to other people and didn't get a response and they were all sad like 2 months later?
I feel like
I'm
there
pretty sure
maybe-
they just hopped on their horse and went there.
if it was like something direct, and then I'm pretty sure they would be more forgiving because like weather or there's war back then. Maybe there's still war now, but I don't know. Horses died. People got sick in when rain. So
Or they would die.
yeah,
They
that
would
too.
die at like 20.
Like I didn't hear back from Johnny. Oh, it's probably because he's dead.
Well, technology, it's so beneficial. Like I can't.
Dude, they used birds to
I
talk
wish we
to each
still
other.
used birds.
That's
That'd be
so
cool.
Why don't we do that anymore?
Because we
That
got
is-
Twitter. We got
how
the
do you train
pigeon
a bird
carriers?
to go across the Atlantic
Pigeon
Ocean?
carriers?
First of all, I thought it was mythical, and I thought it was just in
Like unicorns.
in
In The
movies
Mummy.
and stuff. But I found out that they actually used birds to deliver messages. How?
I don't know how you train something.
They
to
still
that.
do.
What?
Yep.
Where?
Spies.
In the Redlands? Where
in
you
New
used to live?
York
Spies.
Spies.
when they black
too.
out.
You can't even say that word loud because they might be discovered.
Dude,
There's
they're listening.
definitely some hipsters in New York that still do that for sure.
They use carrier pigeons and
They
smoke
use
signals.
I
They
say-
use carrier bees because they're breeding the bees on top of the buildings now.
Which I heard bees are becoming extinct. But that's,
What?
That's off topic.
Get out of here.
Whatever.
Because of technology. Now it's on topic.
Oh.
Okay.
There
Yeah. Pollution, guys.
Electronic
Is
waves.
technology
and-
killing our
Now that I
world.
burned, we're gonna just note that one of our main guys are not here today.
You would have. I'm pretty sure you know.
We are so ADD, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today
I'm
we're
actually
so
texting
easy.
him right now.
Oh, yeah, Ralph. He's at work,
No, you're not.
just like I was in one of them, and just like Joey was in one of them.
Yeah, it's kind of like a pattern almost.
Yeah, we work, so we can't always be in all of them. All right, back to technology. Ooh,
What I was
there's
saying is technology is so beneficial, but nowadays, like, it has affected us, like, I think on a greater span than we're aware of. Like,
sure.
maybe it hits us sometimes, but if we separate ourselves from our phone, from our tablet computers, from anything that is, like, let's just say an electronic device, we don't know how to be, if that makes any sense, or we have to, like, find our way. Like, there are simple tasks that people just cannot do without even
Yeah.
a computer, a graphic calculator, whatever, a graphing calculator, blah, blah, blah. You know?
I can't remember the last time I did math on paper.
Ooh,
I
What's
know.
math?
How bad is that?
I do it every day.
What's math?
at
What's
work,
math?
Unfortunately,
Anything. Just
MNOP.
addition, subtraction,
What are
multiplication.
numbers?
I mean, yeah. Or like
Parabolas.
if it wasn't my phone, it would be my fingers just counting and hoping to God that that's right.
Yeah. Like, Lauren, she's not on the mic, but she just whispered GPS. Are you kidding me?
Oh my
I would
gosh.
not be able to
Oh,
find my
yeah.
way
I
to
go
half
everywhere
of the places I
with
go to.
Waze. Oh, dang! I keep name dropping, and they're not sponsoring us.
Yeah.
But
Too much
These
fireball.
cool apps.
yeah, there's
Oops.
an app out there. We're not gonna say the name. And when you're on the road, it. First of all, Morgan Freeman is the voice.
Or C3PO.
that
You
tells
just
me
name
where to
dropped
go.
Morgan Freeman. He could have
He's not gonna
sponsored.
sponsor
Morgan
us.
Freeman has to sponsor the podcast.
But Morgan Freeman tells me where to go, and it tells me if there's a
so
street
weird.
light camera. It tells me if there's police in the area.
There's a police.
It's pretty
Traffic.
dope. Yeah, and traffic.
I don't know if this is true, so no one
Quote you on it.
quote me on this, but I heard that Google is starting to pull information about traffic from Waze because people report to Waze.
Oh, Google.
I don't doubt it.
Google.
Google's
Should we
always-
talk Google?
Google's always pulling information from everything, always. Does,
Yeah.
does
Your
anybody here
wallet.
watch House of Cards?
Yes.
Yeah, so like in House of Cards, it's like kind
Brownie
of one of the
points.
themes.
No
that-
spoilers.
without spoilers, it's kind of a theme that somehow in some way they're pulling information through like search feeds and stuff like that.
No
which
doubt
is-
they are. No
that's
doubt.
crazy.
I
don't
go
blame
on
'em.
Google. I
But
mean,
I do.
sorry. I go on Facebook. I open another tab. I'm on Google. I search something. All of a sudden, my ads on Facebook totally alter.
related to
and I
that.
yes.
Has anyone
I
ever
don't like it.
used a computer somewhere else and their homepage for some reason was Bing, and you leave Bing to go to Google to use it,
Yeah, you use Bing to Google,
and then go to
Then
Google?
go to Google.
You're like, I'm home now.
If you said this in front of our grandparents, they'd be like, "What? What'd you
Google,
say?
what
You
is
Bing
this
to
language?
Google? Oh, I don't know."
I'm sorry. Wait,
oh,
do
we
people
have
use
we have
Bing?
Latin grandparents.
I-
so.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know,
I do.
but can we just say like,
What is that, Bing?
You
What is it,
Bing to
Google?
Google. ¿Qué es
I
eso?
really feel like Google, Apple, and Disney run America.
Yes.
They own everything.
Yeah, they own a lot. There's a couple more.
I feel like you missed
Like
a couple-
drugs?
Yeah, but I can't think of
Procter
it.
and Gamble.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
bugs.
but you went too deep. That's like Illuminati far. I'm talking like,
You
On
mean what we
TV.
see in the media?
yeah.
Okay.
Disney.
What's
Jay-Z,
allowed to be
and-
seen.
These are the people putting the
Ooh,
chemicals
Kanye
in our
West.
body.
That's another
Kanye
podcast.
He's not president yet. I'm confused.
Not
No,
yet.
yet. Don't. What is? What
But
is this?
we have
Next-
to have Trump first,
next-
and then
There's no
Kanye.
hope for Kanye.
Speaking of
I'm sorry.
like polls, politics, and
Oh,
and,
no.
and technology,
I know, I'm
only
scared.
because like I won't get into it. I won't get
No.
into it. But all I'm gonna say is that I think that where we're going, a lot of this is I read a book one time that talks about how in the future everything becomes so social, like social media and all that stuff, that everything becomes a popularity contest.
Yeah, it's like right now.
So we talk about like picking the next president of the United States and everything like that. A lot of that has become social, and what's exciting, what are people reading, whose name is said the most and stuff like that. And a lot of that becomes kind of who we vote for, as opposed to we've done our research and we
That's true.
know the person, we've seen them in person, we've met them, we've seen them eye to eye, and kind of
Yeah.
know who they are as a person.
I like to tell myself that that's the only reason Trump is building as much of a building as much steam as he is right now because of it's like a popularity thing, and it's just like whatever. He's the guy that's on the media's covering more. I like to tell myself that more than people are actually like
into that.
Yes.
Well, in 08, like that was kind of
He's kind of a
Obama's
poster
agenda.
boy.
Like the way that he got into the environment and the community was through the media.
Yeah,
like
his
no other
team was
president had ever
really
done that
smart.
before. Like it had affected, society in the way that he had, just because he was like on the television, on the radio, online, just
That's true.
taking advantage of everything that, we're grasping at right now.
Wow, I'd never know. He was probably the first
He was the
president
first.
to really utilize that to
Yeah.
his benefit.
Yeah, for sure.
All thanks to technology.
Yeah.
So then what do we think about it?
Wow, technology is the reason Obama
That's what I
is
was saying.
president.
Like it has more of a hold on us, I think, than we're totally aware. Like it's
Well, if
just
we're-
innate. Like if I don't do it all the time, but I will admit that I do this. If I'm going to the bathroom, I'll take my phone so I can browse Instagram.
Why are you
like,
afraid
what
to
is
admit that? I haven't
That's kinda
taken a
that's
dump
super weird.
without a phone in, I don't know, the last time.
In a millennial.
Before technology, before
That was
phone
kinda weird.
technology, taking dumps were normal. But then now if I leave my phone, taking dumps are boring.
I have anxiety on the toilet if I don't have my phone with me now.
Before I thought nothing of it. I thought, let me do this and let me get out as fast as possible. Now I
Dude,
just think,
do you remember
I
when-
gotta find my
when-
phone so I can take a dump.
Do you remember when your Game Boy on the toilet was the best thing ever?
I never
Yeah.
had a Game Boy.
Oh, I
think.
did.
Except
I
for
had
when
the
it was
purple
night
see-through
and your
one.
Game Boy didn't have a light.
Oh,
Way back when.
yeah.
I'm talking old school
Just
technology.
turn the light on in the bathroom.
I would use the light
Every
for my
bathroom has a
watch
light.
and like play at the same
call,
time.
Should we call this episode
Taking a dump
Poop
You've never
is
seen my
Boring
bathroom.
without technology or something?
Yes. Yes.
Poop
Nah.
It's not even taking
Poop
a dump
schmoop.
anymore. It's like, hold on, I'm going to go check my feed. And then at the end of it, you're like, I guess I should wipe.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, God.
Or squirt, depending on
Oh
your
my God.
situation. Yeah.
I can't tell you how much more time I'm on the toilet
Yes.
because of the phone.
Yes.
And it
that's
like
what-
dries on you.
And then your legs fall asleep, right?
Yes. You have
Oh
like
my
your elbows on your knees.
So
like your
And you got your marks.
One of them is taken, but don't you?
the red
Where
liner
else
on
don't
your
you wanna
butt.
date
I
Kyle and
would
Joey?
definitely be interested to know the statistics in how many like hernias in like the world there have been due to this.
Increase.
Wow.
Yeah, like
From sitting on the toilet for so long.
You gotta wet that toilet. You gotta wet the paper in the sink a little bit.
And like dab a little bit on there.
No, but what I can, I could give you a stat though, if you want another stat.
Hit us with a
Oh,
stat.
You want another
Ash
stat?
with the
stats.
You want another stat?
Ash with the stats. Ash with the stats. Ash with the stats. Ash with the stats.
All right. This is from the Huffington Post. And this, keep in mind, this is from back in 2012. Okay? Back in 2012, they did a survey. 58% of U.S. smartphone owners check their phones at least every hour. And a large share of that percentage were individuals that used it in the bedroom and in the bathroom. That's more than half of the U.S. population that owns smartphones are using it back in 2012 in the bedroom and in the bathrooms. Can you, no doubt that percentage is like,
Skyrocketed.
yes.
I don't
yeah.
remember the stat, but there was a stat for how much poop particles are on your phone
I've seen.
Don't care. Don't
because
care.
I'm always taking it into the bathroom.
I wonder
Let's
how
all
much
Clorox
poop
her.
particles are in a
Lysol.
homeless man's phone.
Dude, poop particles.
I've seen homeless men with iPhones.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if we really want to
How?
get into this, but poop particles
And
are on
women.
everything. Learn to accept it.
Yeah.
Restaurants are disgusting.
They're on
Poop
these
is on
mics right now.
everything.
What doesn't kill you
We
makes
are
you
in our
stronger,
own
okay?
filth.
you're
Just
walking
accept
through
it.
school right now listening to this podcast on your headphones. Somebody next to you just farted poop particles on you right now.
Yes,
nose.
in your
Nope.
mouth,
Inside your lungs.
in your mouth, on your eyes, just everywhere. You are covered in
Inside
shit.
of you.
So
Shit
speaking
is
of
life.
how often we use our phone or check our phone throughout the day, I have an application that's called Moment, and it basically tracks how many times I look at the phone throughout the day. And
my
so
gosh. I've
heard
my
of that. It's
average
awesome.
is anywhere between 2 to 3 hours a day.
That's all?
that I'm on my phone. Yeah, but to me, I look at that and I'm
Dude,
like, oh my gosh,
props.
I'm wasting my whole life.
Props.
Yeah.
That,
Really?
no,
2 hours,
that's
a
not
good
even like,
episode of, House
that's
of
not
Cards.
half as much as we do it. I promise you. According to Statista, back in 2015 in March,
So what?
Statista,
Statista, it's like a
tongue twister.
barista.
I thought you just said it wrong and just kept going.
Latina was
Americans
coming
use their electronic media 11 or more hours a day.
No, electronic media though, not
No,
their
no,
phone.
no. The majority of them, phones.
Okay, so let's see. 3 hours a day
Yes.
times 7 days a week.
Keep in mind, we're awake 16 to 18
That's
hours a
21
day.
hours.
That's
Times
crazy.
4 times 12.
That's why I
in a
said
year.
props. Like, that's
1,008 hours a year.
That's 1,008 hours a year I could be like putting towards a new book or
Just on a
learning an
phone.
instrument or like living life or anything.
Divided
talking
by
to somebody.
24. That's 42 days of
eating.
just being on your phone.
you could be eating
Holy
more.
crap.
in a
That's
year.
crazy.
You could be doing sit-ups and getting
I'm
six
hungry
pack.
if you can't tell.
Hey, but,
but.
you know, back in the day, I mean, way back in the day, I'm talking about like
Wagons.
No, even further than that. But sure, even wagons. There was a lot of sitting around and just staring too. So,
Was it really?
yeah, of course.
Well,
there
that's where
was.
you got the smolder from.
Okay, a wagon is a good example.
that
If
was
you're in a
invented.
wagon and you're going
You're
6 miles
you're
an
wasting
hour,
time
you're
doing
just
nothing.
staring at,
Wow.
at birds and
While you go
flying
on a
around.
road trip now, you can learn about so many things. Your brain
Yeah,
can
you know
wonder,
what?
Like, I
We're-
wonder how birds reproduce. You can Google that on the way to Disney World.
We are changing the tone of this podcast, and we're about to talk about how great technology is.
Wait, we weren't talking about how bad it was.
Yeah, we were. How horrible everything is and how bad we
Hey,
spend
taking
so
a
much
long
time on it and
poop
how bad
isn't
it is.
bad.
Dude, you can sit on and take a dump and learn about like
The forest.
everything.
Let me
I
tell
can
you
learn
Literally
about my
everything you
dump.
want.
I would say that I do 25% of my banking on the toilet,
Nice.
like paying credit card, something like that.
From what we've talked about so far, I'm pretty sure you do everything on the toilet.
Dirty money.
No, I don't do everything on
Instagram,
the toilet.
Snap, everything.
No, but I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
do.
I think it's I think it's important to think that like a lot of what we do today we used to or people used to do back in the day, but or whatever day that was, maybe a Wednesday. But but in
days.
general it was done by people. And so like, you know, they're sitting in the wagon and they're going on a trail. But they're telling each other stories rather
Yeah.
than going to movies or reading books or ebooks or whatever the case may be. Or they're
There was definitely hours of silence, though. I mean,
I mean,
you
yeah,
only
there had to
talk
have been
so
like
long.
Days.
people like to think.
maybe a lot more sleeping back then.
But I think solitude is important, and we've reached a point now where there's no solitude because everything has become, like we were talking about earlier, connection.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to be connected with me, they are instantly, and I might feel guilty not responding to them instantly, or like they think like, well, you could just text me right now. Like, no, I need a second to like get me together, me in order, and we might not be receiving that time anymore. So I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think we're balancing it correctly? Do you think we
No.
no. Well, I don't know
No.
about anyone else, but I think solitude.
Sorry, we didn't even let you finish. No.
I think solitude is so refreshing.
It
like
is.
if you have a moment of it, especially in nature, it feels
Oh,
like
yeah.
I don't know.
You feel revived. A
Yeah.
couple of years ago,
Whereas
some of us are here. We went camping.
yeah,
Sarasota.
that was so
Sarasota?
nice.
Was it?
Yeah, it was in Sarasota, Florida.
And primitive camping, and it was just the bomb.
Whereas before, that's just what people did, and that was just normal. And to us, that's such a luxury right now. Well, to people that can appreciate it, because there's some people who can't stand it. They just can't stand solitude.
Yeah. I think that's a problem
I agree.
that technology possibly has created.
It has a hold on certain
Right
people.
now, technology, I feel like people created, you know.
Going with that, you know what
mean,
I
people created
despise?
technology. But I'm
and
saying like
The
sorry.
improp. No. You were talking
like
about
the presence of something, like the presence of alcohol doesn't make you an alcoholic. It's
Yeah.
your attitude towards it. So it's the
yeah.
people abusing it.
Yeah, of course. I think how it happened is the rapid integration of it.
Yeah.
We didn't discover the power of smartphones and say, okay, what should we do? Everyone just took over because
Like
everyone can
before-
make apps at home and everyone wants to make money. And so it's just like rapid fire, all this stuff comes out. Between 1900 and the year 2000, more happened technology invention wise than all of history prior combined.
It's kind of like a drug we didn't know the effects of, but we got addicted to it before we knew the long-term effects.
And it's still
yeah,
young.
that's a great example.
It's still really young, and we're kind of like finding our own place in it. And it
Yeah.
kind of like, rather than finding its place in us as we were creating it, we just kind of let it take over. And now we're
Yeah.
like, oh wait, now who am I within
Yeah,
this?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It upgrades faster than our organic selves can
AI.
Oof.
can
Oh
handle.
boy.
I feel like there's a part of us that are still conscious of that, but yet we still let it take over and substitute for like relationship and communication where it should never be a part of. For example, like maybe part of our family is going to hate us because I say this, but young parents, you know, they have a kid, the kid's crying, whatever, they stick a phone in front of the kid's
Oh
face, they
my
stick them in front of the
gosh.
TV. They will not be happy unless they have this piece of technology that they are looking at for hours on end.
We won't see those
I can't
effects
stand
until
that.
the
I
future
can't.
when they've grown up. Like I'm kind of worried. Like when
Yeah,
I see
me
that
too.
happen, I feel like no, I would give them a crayon, a book. I don't know, but we'll be able to see if it was a mistake or not. Like we'll be able to see that, but right now we don't.
It
know.
is
It's kinda
convenient
scary,
and
but-
it is beneficial, especially for, let's say, like single parents and stuff like that. But what did parents who were in those very same similar situations do
Our parents.
40 years ago? Exactly.
Not even
And look
40
at
years
us.
ago. We didn't have the technology that the kids today have.
Game
Yeah.
Boy was my parent. Pokemon was definitely that's where I probably learned everything.
That's still the case today, but obviously way worse.
I think Netflix has now become a lot of people's parents
And chill.
Little
No,
people,
but I think
the baby
but I think
people.
these aren't new questions. We've just answered it differently because
Ooh,
back in the
going
day,
Ooh, yeah.
back in the day, you had somebody who didn't want to deal with their kid. They had a nanny, and then they would drop off the kid to the nanny, and the nanny would become the parent.
Yeah, but only
Still
rich
a thing.
people though.
Still a thing.
Still, even so, like I mean, it would be
You let
whether
them
it
go
wasn't the nanny
outside
or
and play
like
rocks.
or a neighbor or I mean, who knows the situation or scenario. But a lot of times, there's always a way to find convenience in our everyday life, and whether that be a nanny or a
iPhone.
Netflix on the phone.
Yeah, it's whatever's at hand.
Exactly.
In that time frame.
Right. What can I do to get myself out of this as opposed to deal with this head on?
Boom.
I feel
I work. Okay, so once again, if I don't know if we have new listeners, but I have two separate jobs. One of them is at a restaurant. The other one is with kids. The restaurant job, it's funny because it's like I'm in a constant social experiment working there, and one of the things that I see often are kids, like families together. The adults are having a conversation. They're interacting with each other, and then the kids are just completely just engulfed in their phone or their iPad or whatever the entire time. Even I try to take their order and they can't even look up at
Yes.
me to place an order.
I know.
so gross.
It's
I had a kid
so
put a finger up
sad.
at me because he couldn't look away from his
was,
phone.
Like he
Just
was
texting
staring
his
and then
babe?
put a finger up.
Yes.
Like, hold on a second. Sir.
Yes,
but
and
never
his-
looked at you.
and he never placed an order. His parents were just like, he wants chicken tenders.
Wow.
And the parents finished eating their meal and they sat there and waited for this kid that took a bite
to
every
starve.
I guess, like he would pause the game occasionally and take a bite, and the parents just sat there and waited for him to finish.
It was a game. It wasn't even like he was texting somebody.
No, it was a game.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's just really sad,
That's
I think, and it kind of hurts to watch that happen so often. And it's not just with kids. I've seen complete families or groups of friends that come out to eat, and all of them are just on their phones and
Side of the table.
not even in the moment. They're just at a table together on
Yeah.
Facebook.
We've been guilty of that. But I think less than the normal crowd and what they do. But we have been guilty of that. We've pointed it out and like made jokes because like maybe like half of the group
Yeah, with us,
is on their phones
it
while we're
happens-
hanging out.
It happens briefly. Like I'll look around for a second. I'm like,
Yeah.
hold on a second. Everyone's on
As
their
long as
phones.
you're aware.
Yeah.
But it's not
just
like
funny
the
to
whole
point
time
out.
we're sitting there. Everyone's
No,
just
no,
on their
no.
phones.
Yeah, I
Which
don't.
is
I
what
don't
I
mean the
just
whole
think,
time.
Like
I
if
just
we
mean
go to
partially.
dinner, we'll like put all the phones like in a stack, and then the first person to touch their
Yeah.
phone has to pay for the entire meal.
Yeah, we've said we were going to do
That's a
that, but
great
it
idea,
we never
Steven.
follow through with that.
I don't
No
remember
one's
saying
rich
we
enough.
do that, but I would be cool with stacking the phones. But
Dude, that's an awesome idea.
I mean, we
Let's
usually
do
go
it.
out on big parties. That's like a $200 tab. That's pretty high.
All the more reason.
We're
not-
millennials,
one-
guys.
no
We're
one
millennials.
ever
We don't have
touches
money
their
like
phone.
that.
But then if no one touches their phone, is it just like
Just
split
pay
evenly
yourself,
Then
I
you
guess.
split. Yeah.
Okay.
Or whoever's at the end of the table. No.
Because
you
then you'd
split
be
it.
there,
You split
you'd be
it.
there the whole night until you're like, I gotta take my phone. They're gonna fire me.
Everybody just waiting, hands like
Yeah.
ready to go. Yeah.
Can we talk about how technology has replaced humans in certain
Yes, let's
Jobs?
do it.
Area-
And
areas?
I wish
Let's
Aaron
tap
was
into
on
that.
here, my friend from work, because
He has a friend named Aaron.
he has the most interesting theory about what you just said.
What is it?
Okay. So he wonders what's going to happen to people in the future who have not adapted to technology, to be quite frank, that aren't very smart. Like, I don't want to throw anyone's occupation under the bus, but he brings up the occupation of truck driving. That truck driving is one of the only jobs that still pays a living, pretty decent wage that you just need like a GED or high school. Not even really. You just need a driver's license to do. And when they come out with this automated car stuff, that's going to go away. What are these people going to do? They don't have an education. Maybe they don't even have a means to get an education, but they're going to be replaced. So then what? There's going to be a lot of people who have nothing to do, and maybe they're unmotivated, but that doesn't change the fact that there's going to be potentially thousands of people that have nothing to do.
There's got to be people to fix those robots or whatever, you know?
I don't know. I remember when did it? I don't know how old I was when it happened. That garbage men. Like, I remember before they used to hang on the back and then jump down from the garbage truck and grab the garbage
sure
can.
What is that?
And put it in
What's
there.
a garbage
And now we have a freaking robot arm that comes down and grabs the garbage can. So all we need really is a driver now.
Yeah.
And
if
I remember
they take the driver away.
when did that happen? Around the time we were teens, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of places that still have the actual garbage men. Like New York, I don't know if they'll ever have to, because they got to go inside the building and all this kind of stuff.
But I'm talking about where we live in Miami-Dade County.
Where we live in Miami-Dade County, they have like these arms that come down off the truck and pick it up. So there's really literally only a driver, and sometimes I see a passenger. Maybe he's for like complications or something. But
yeah, and I remember thinking, man, that's really sad. A lot of people must have either lost their job, or I highly doubt they can just move that many people to other positions. Like, they had to let a bunch of people go.
Yeah.
Or SunPass, like the tolls. There used to be people that you paid and you gave $1 and you keep on trucking, and now it's just a camera.
Thousands of them are gone.
But if you look at it this way, those jobs wouldn't have been created without technology in the first place, like cars and
but we're talking about
Those jobs
technology
are there.
now overriding jobs is what we're talking
But
about.
those jobs were there. Those jobs were created by technology, so technology can take them away.
Can take them away.
I guess, like,
Technology
it's
is
its own
God.
authority. Like, the only reason
I created
Alright,
you, I
guys.
can take you away.
Podcast done.
Podcast is over. Technology is God.
Well,
We got
Everybody
it.
it's
pray
been
to
a
your
pleasure being
phones.
here. Thank you guys.
Hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Gonna have to go pray to my phone.
Good night.
But it's, I mean, honestly, it's such a tough call, because if I'm running a business, at which point is it okay for me to cut cost by having an automated email service as opposed to paying somebody all day long to email people?
Of course.
Like, and then, but then
we
what
getting
happens
political.
is we fall into this argument of, is it better to save money for my business, or should I support humanity and people by helping them like support themselves?
Because it dumbs down to, do we want to be advantageous and get somewhere in society, or do we want to care about our fellow man? And it's super unfortunate, but we've come to a point in time where, like Joy was saying, yes, because of tech, we've been able to, support people and support households. But I think that even more so, it has debilitated us and brought us down from where we once were. And it's super unfortunate.
Can I just say I checked
where
my
were we?
phone and I felt some conviction after I checked it. I was like, oh.
We were
checked my
a
Snapchat.
civilization that picked ourselves up from our bootstraps and created a world that never was. And now we depend on things that are inanimate to create a world that never was.
I'm
And
just
that's
curious how many people right now are Googling picked us up from our bootstraps, like, to understand that.
What's a bootstrap?
I don't know why. I don't like that.
When I think of
saying.
bootstraps, I think of Pirates of the
What don't you
Caribbean.
like about it? Because
I
like
really
it's
don't
the total
know.
truth to me.
I really don't know.
Okay,
No,
just as American,
just
like,
the bootstrap
not even,
thing. It's
Look,
not
I
like,
think. I think
Oh
now-
my gosh!
like,
back
what are
then-
bootstraps?
back
Why are
then-
we picking them up?
Yep, he's one.
I don't like that.
My boots are
Doesn't
my
make
boots.
sense.
They
An
don't need straps.
expression.
It's old. We don't have bootstraps anymore. Let's get a new one.
I think
You know
now,
why? Because tying your sneakers properly doesn't sound as cool.
Guys, I think I got
Let's-
something.
Yeah, go.
All right,
But speak
it's-
into the mic, though.
Back then, when what Ashley's talking about is when people would get up, pick themselves up, is when they would rely on their own technology, their own inventiveness.
Intuition.
Now, we're relying on other people's geniuses and their technology, because it's spread and shared, way easier.
Situational.
Granted.
So it allows other humans to be lazy and not, think for themselves and let the bigger
To
people
see it-
think.
Yeah, to see it that way is undeniable. yes, technology has done things that have made us, I guess you can say, more lazy or more whatever. But at the same time, in the same remark, it has been like crime-wise,
Yeah.
we have been able to discover on a rapid pace
Who did what?
who did what.
Yeah.
And we've been able to redeem things that were so lost and forgotten because of technology at the same time.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you.
My mind keeps going back
Right?
and forth. When I was doing research, I was like, oh, but look how
Yeah.
dependent we are on it. But oh my gosh, look at these amazing things we've done with
I
it
think
at the same time.
technology is a great reflection of humanity in general. Or I'm just thinking of, wow, look at all these amazing things, and at the same time, look how horrible it is, and look how much it's like damaged us or whatever. But I'm glad that you brought that up about crime and how much technology is, like, just how important it is. I think I brought this up in another podcast. Like a few decades ago, people with diabetes or people with certain cancer, they would just die. Like
Even the cold back then.
Exactly. There
Common
just
cold.
wasn't the technology at the time to do anything about it. So they would just die. Whereas today they get treatment or they have surgery or there's something that happens and those people get to live now. And I think that's pretty
I think
awesome.
technology is with us for better or worse because, I mean, we wouldn't deny someone that technology even if I feel like it was better for... If it's worse for us to live longer, we would deny that. We wouldn't let somebody die earlier just because the less people there are in the world, the better it is for the greater good.
I think the problem is, and like what's become so difficult is there's always this argument between like emotion and logic. And when it comes to technology as a whole or in general, everything is always logical. And like, does it make sense for this to happen? Is it easier for this and so on and so forth? And typically the answer is yes. That's why we have it. That's why we created it. That's why we continue to use it. But then emotionally, does it make sense? Like, does it take away so-and-so's job? How does it make me feel at one with myself? Do I always have this need for attention now through social media or so on and so forth, as opposed to being able to be by myself and be comfortable with that? So there's like this argument and
Pull
this
and
constant
tug.
internal struggle and pull and tug of,
Dude, that's life. That's normal. That's
Of
what
course,
we do.
yeah.
as
Yeah, but then
humans.
if someone's paralyzed, brain dead, basically dead, but the machine is keeping them alive, then it's, the tug of war of like, should we turn it off or shouldn't we? Is there still hope
That's-
or not?
Yeah, that's a good.
That's technology keeping them alive, and I don't know.
But
that's-
should they be? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not answering
No.
that question.
Oh.
I mean,
No,
probably
I did it.
situational.
I guess an
No.
easier question than is like, should Cyborg be a superhero? I don't know. Right?
Should a cyborg be a superhero or a
I think he is.
villain?
Pretty sure he is.
That's it. Technology is God.
What?
The question is always going to be who's being hurt and who's being lifted. And so when it comes to technology and, our smartphones, because it's kind of been like the main topic for tonight, it's who's being hurt by this and who's being lifted by this. And a lot of times it's like for in my relationship with me and my fiance, a lot of it is I have plenty of time to go on Instagram now and promote my poetry and my work and stuff like that. And it's great and it's exciting. And I get to feed that little bit of me that begs for attention inside. But then sometimes that takes away from our relationship because I'm busy out doing these photos or writing or posting or, commenting back to people.
It's all
or-
about her, though, right? So brownie points.
Oh, yeah, most of the poetry.
All the pictures.
No, but I mean, in
Babe, we can't spend time with each other. I'm busy showing
talking
other
about
people
you
about
to other
you.
people.
but it becomes that because now it's interesting. But like even going off of that point, I can post a picture of her and write a beautiful poem, but it might not have the same effect on her as it would if she got to dress up and then I showed her off by taking her out.
Something that nobody sees on technology. It's
Exactly.
Like a
Right.
little hidden
Yeah.
gem.
One thing that I think is very interesting that I thought about a second ago, but I was trying to let the conversation continue, was you were talking about creating technology to make things easier. A long time ago when it was just surviving, all the whole day was surviving. Get out of the sun, get food, get water. Kyle's snapping right now.
Ayo! And we all
For
pose
I
survival.
am
for it.
snapping
Survival.
right now.
I'm gonna snap too.
Let's all snap
Let's
and
all
forget what
snap
Jason
each
was
other.
saying.
Old people would start taking their hands out and like, hey guys, I'm snapping too. What's the big deal? I don't get it.
I don't know about that.
That was good. Is everyone
All right,
snapping
here,
now?
we're all
All right.
We're all
So
snapping.
I'm not
listeners,
snapping.
everyone right now is
I'm taking a stand for us humanity.
recording
and-
what's happening.
All right, so what I was saying was we're on this quest to make everything easier, right? So what are we doing with all this like
I think life
extra
should be
free
hard.
time?
Life should be hard. We should stop making it so easy because hardship creates character, creates art. If life was so easy, it wouldn't be life.
That's a good
Sorry,
point.
I kind of strayed away from your question.
No, that's a good point. But like, okay, we're trying to save all this time, right? Like, let's
kind
say
of like
let's
where
say
you-
it's a really long time ago,
where do you
right?
draw
And
that line,
it took
too?
a really long time to carry a lot of weight over a certain distance, right?
Yeah.
So the wheel was created,
Mhm.
and now we can carry all that weight in one go.
Or like,
we have 2 extra free
or
hours
the
now.
arrow,
What are
the
we
bow
doing
and arrow
with it?
too. Like, we need more food, and then you get way too much food. You kill a whole species of animal because you killed it.
I don't know if they did that with the bow and arrow, but
I know, but the bow and arrow
I see where you're going. I see
evolved into the gun or
Ooh,
whatever.
That's another topic right
But-
there.
But but that's
Not
like
to jump around.
I
Was
think
that
that we're
kind of where
missing
you're
things though, like the difference between driving a car and riding a bike. Like if you drive a car and you're going, 40 miles an hour
you can get farther
on the same, you can go farther,
less
but on the
energy.
same road that you might ride a bike, you might see things differently.
Mhm.
And it's all perspective at the end of the day. And who are you at the end of the trip, I think is a bigger question than what you took to get there.
So what was
It
more?
depends. What's the trip? Am I on
It was more of a
vacation
struggle.
or am I going to work?
So yeah, like a bicycle trip, the same distance as a car trip is more of a struggle, right? Like you put your body through more stress. You actually active. It's more hardship. So
Yeah,
the
but
less,
were you listening
the,
to an audiobook in the car?
Yeah, I mean, the less hardship, the less I don't know. I think I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm sorry. With more
you just
technology,
want life to be hard.
no, I don't. But where do we draw that line? Like where do we stop? Because as an artist,
That's a
I
good
went
question.
to a magnet art school, Coral Reef. Heyo.
Hey, Corey, Reef. What up, Reef?
Wait,
The first 2 years.
09?
I was in art. Anyways, my art teacher was like, the big thing about art is knowing when to stop, when to stop putting things into your, frame, your composition. Because then
Yeah.
that's the thing. You can be the best technical artist, but you got to know when to stop and make a masterpiece.
so I think the food industry was kind of brought up, wasn't it? Somebody said something about food.
Yeah,
and
about killing animals.
and I got a bing of like how technology
A text?
is able to in my head. Wow, even my
A thought
anyway.
text.
Are we recording?
How technology is able to feed an entire country, but at the same time, the food industry is just gross, but we still eat from it.
Waiting tables.
Okay,
Have
we'll
you
go to
seen
what
that film?
Ashley said.
Have you seen that film?
Oh yeah.
It's about the food industry.
Oh,
It's
is it?
disgusting.
Okay, I thought-
You've never
Dane
seen
Cook?
it with Ryan Reynolds?
I have
Ryan
not,
Oh my
Reynolds, Dane Cook.
gosh.
which I probably should.
You
since
need
I'm
to
a
watch
server.
it because you would probably tell us it's 10 times worse than the film. But the film itself is like, oh my god.
Okay, what's the premise? What's this about? How's it
These
relevant?
people
You get
that
to
work
see
at a
the-
restaurant and they have super annoying customers and they get really annoyed with their customers, so then they do nasty things to
You
their
get to
food.
see the culture
and apparently
of-
everyone that I've known that has worked at a restaurant says it's just like that or worse.
Well,
Yeah.
I've worked at 2 restaurants, and I have never, ever seen anyone do something nasty to someone, like spitting in food and all
Kyle is
that.
a good guy.
I've never seen that happen. You just don't do it.
Because you're too busy working.
No, it's really because it doesn't happen. I'm telling you, it doesn't happen.
They just say that to scare us, maybe.
I've heard the opposite from people
Yeah,
that worked
we
way
have
longer in the industry
relatives
than you,
who
though.
used to work at a.
Maybe things have changed
Very
because of
known.
technology.
Is it current? Okay, because first of all, there's cameras everywhere.
They
There's
can't hear
there's
this.
multiple managers that are always there, and not to mention that there's other people that see you do it that won't be down with that. Like if I saw someone do that, I'd be like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like
You had to report it.
I've had the most horrible tables, and I still wouldn't do that. And I
Because you're a great guy.
no, it's not. That's not it. It's also
Kyle is a great guy,
people-
guys.
Let's
No,
talk about how great.
Kyle's going on Tinder, guys.
All right, moving on.
Swipe right.
Technology.
Okay, I think a lot of what we talked about tonight, and then like the overall question has become like, what's better, the old way or the new way? I mean, like when it comes to shaving, for example, do we like? Without talking about things that don't sponsor us,
No, you're good. You're good. We're
There's-
just
Go
joking.
ahead, just say it.
online sites now that you can order razors that are sent to your house.
Amen.
It's fairly
Ooh, the
cheap.
Dollar Shave one.
And they're great.
Oh, we are saying words, okay. And so, but they're fairly
saying
cheap
words.
and they work well and stuff like that. But do we use that? Do
You
we
don't use it. You have a
razors?
mustache.
You can
Well,
use
yeah, I have a
the-
mustache.
the,
Well,
he
the
uses
beautiful
it
thing
to
about
trim
it
it.
is you can use whatever the hell you want to and what's most convenient for you.
Have any of the men here used a straight razor before?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have,
that's-
okay.
I
And
think
so,
I'd
like,
kill
what's
myself.
but preference now? What do you think between a straight razor and using one of these new multi-edged razors?
I don't
Multi-edge
use
razors
either. I use the electronic razor.
Oh,
'cause
so you've taken it
it's-
even further.
It's faster.
I keep my beard, so I just use an electric one to just trim around the edges.
I use everything.
Which is whatever you find. Like,
yeah, I need
outside,
to shave now.
a blade of
what's
grass,
closest
maybe.
by.
No, we miss your beard.
I know. I used to have a pretty nice
It was
beard, but I
glorious.
shaved it.
I had beard envy, and now my beard's better than yours right now.
That would be
Give it a
a
day.
good thing that we could go over. We've kind of said a lot of bad things about technology. We could say the good stuff.
True.
I
I'm
keep trying to pull it that
medical.
way, but we keep
I
on
didn't
going to the
mean-
bad.
I didn't mean to say technology was bad because I feel like technology is going to be with us no matter what.
Yeah. I don't think it's bad.
I love it.
But I feel like maybe
I think we've been engulfed by it.
Yeah, yeah.
I
think
think
that we
it
all
moves.
feel-
It
Technology is good. We are bad.
we can't abuse it.
Well, my
It
last
moves-
point that I wrote
moves
down
too
was
quickly for us to
decide.
get good at
Yeah.
the point that it's at.
It's like a wild horse you want to ride.
What was that?
It's a beautiful, strong wild horse, but people have been trying to ride it and they get crushed with its legs. And we just got to get smart
Okay,
enough to
Joey.
ride it and just,
I think the last point that I wrote down here is technology isn't good or bad. It's all about who's pulling the trigger. So maybe something like that.
Like the inventor of
It almost sounds like you're a poet.
Not me. I just play a lot of PS4. That's all.
You're very insightful.
So is that what you mean by the trigger? Who is inventing it? What's
no,
their
I mean it could be
reason?
It
or
could
what?
be the person as well. I mean,
yeah, the consumer.
For example, like, so, all right, speaking of poetry and stuff like that, like, I'll post something up on Instagram and that might inspire or essentially uninspire somebody, like that might ruin somebody's day and or greatly benefit somebody's day. And it's in the eyes of the beholder and also the one who's putting it there in the first place. But technology was the tool that was utilized in order to get there.
Whereas before, that wasn't the case. Right now, anyone in any part of the world can hear what we're saying right now.
Potentially.
Once we post it.
I feel like without technology,
Potentially, of course.
there wouldn't be any art, really. Because we invented, paper, pencil, paintbrushes, paint,
Yeah.
colors. I mean, we didn't invent it, but we've discovered it and I guess
Invented.
technologized it.
No, brushes were definitely
Yeah.
an invention. Paper was an
Yeah,
invention.
so like without technology, there wouldn't be much art anyways.
Maybe it's like the philosophy in me, but I always just feel like that goes a step further. Like, I've always said with poetry and stuff like that, like, people are always like, oh man, you're a good poet. Like, I love the things that you write and that you create. I'm like, no, I don't create this stuff. I translate it because I see it. And like, so we were talking earlier about how, like, posting my fiance on Instagram and stuff like that. Like, she is the beauty. She is the poetry. I've just learned how to translate it and explain it to others. And so we talk about how we've made technology. And so we've ultimately created art and this medium in which we can experience it. And yeah, that's true. We can definitely experience it now differently, but it's always been there. And we've always been experiencing it in one way or the other.
Yeah, I really feel like technology, like in art, is probably my favorite type of technology.
Oh,
If
yeah.
that makes any sense.
Not in medical.
Do you mean what do you mean?
Personally, just who I am as a
It
person.
touches
Because
you
it's
more.
therapeutic
Exactly.
to you?
It I
Same
guess
here.
I'm affected more by how incredible
Avatar was.
No.
just in general, just how technology has affected art. Like, there's been times, okay, for example, Art Basel, it's this I guess festival is what we can call
Art
it.
Festival.
An art festival that happens annually here in Miami, in Wynwood, which is like an art district, I guess. And when I'm there, I'm just like, I get overwhelmed. Like, I almost have anxiety. I need to sit down and not be stimulated for a second because the art there is so moving, and it's not all of it, but sorry, it's mostly there because of technology, and not just like, I'm not saying just digital art, whatever, but like we mentioned earlier, how technology,
I feel
brushes are technology,
I feel like
canvas is technology.
as artists, you are constantly trying to discover new ways of looking at things and translating things. So you're definitely creating this new sense of technology in a way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you're showing them, like, I feel, I don't know, technology created art, but art helps create more technology, inventing and using your imagination. You get me?
Did technology create art though? I don't know if that's,
Except for maybe
No.
singing,
Wait.
but
I don't think that's
No.
a fair statement.
okay. So maybe
Personally.
art, I mean, technology created a lot of arts
I think
that help it.
technology facilitates art. definitely, and furthers art. But I mean, I don't know how far we want to get into this, but I see things in nature all the time that just happen that way.
Or technology
and
is
it's,
art.
and it's art. I see that as art.
Is it flower technology?
What?
Is it art because art needs a creator?
Whoa, too far.
Or is it just coincidence?
It's art. It's art.
Okay, we'll leave it there. I had an interesting question. Since we're on the topic of art and integrating technology, what do you think about any Joe Schmo schmuck being able to put out anything they create out there versus?
Oh my gosh.
Like, let's say
Versus quality.
Yeah, well, because okay, this is the question that I was going to have.
quality,
It's
though.
kind of long though. There was a time where you had to really, really push and meet the right people and make something quality that enough people were actually talking about to get you out into the light.
Yeah.
Now, there were probably a bunch of reclusive type of people who were actually amazing and they didn't get found until after they're dead and all this kind of stuff. So technology lets a lot of people who are actually great be found. But they're
You have a
also
bunch of
lost
nobodies
in
who
the
are
sea
not
of
creative.
suckiness.
Yeah.
What do you
True.
think about that? Do you think
Or
that's
gifted,
better for
yeah.
art or worse for art that anyone can just put out whatever they want out there in any medium?
But we say suckiness, but because we hold it
I
to
think we're
like
going the
a
same.
certain standard and or quality. I hope, man. Now I really hope I'm saying what you were thinking.
Me too.
They're pointing at each other and they're
I just
connecting
pointed-
eyes.
I felt like you were gonna say what I wanted to say. Go.
I'm gonna keep trying, and you just let me know.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, great.
You go ahead.
But in reality, I think we're starting to see what people as a whole really want. Because a lot of times, like writing, for example. So I'll write something and I'll put it on
No,
Instagram.
that's not where I was gonna
well,
go.
I'm sorry. But like a lot of times with writing like my poetry and my work, I'll put it on Instagram, right? And I'm like, man, this is the one. This I felt, I
Love
spent
it.
time on. This was like deep inside of me, and I just can't wait to share this with the world. And it goes out there, and it gets like
2
less likes than like anything I've ever posted ever.
Yeah.
And then like you were saying, some like random guy goes and he puts up another post. I was like, hey, today I
it's a
farted,
cover.
and like a bajillion, yeah, and like a bajillion likes and follows, and everybody's like, yeah, that guy farted. It was so poetic. You
How do
know,
you quantify a bajillion?
well, yeah, bajillion. You know,
I'm just kidding.
and then everybody on Instagram, and then but ultimately,
crashes.
and you know, at the end of the day, we all, again,
It's for
emotional
yourself.
logic, like it feels a certain way. Yeah, it was for myself, exactly. And I wrote what I felt, and I posted it, and who saw it was who saw it, and that was it. The end.
I don't give a who likes it or not. I liked it.
It almost has to be that way, because a lot of us are like are seekers of this the liking and the following and the how many people are paying attention to me, when in reality maybe more people want to pay attention to the guy who farted.
Yeah, and that so you kind of said what I was gonna say, which is
All right.
I
Jason
tried.
said suckiness and whatever, but that's all subjective.
Of course it's subjective,
Like-
but for the most part, you'd have to agree that there are levels of quality, and a majority can agree on what is pretty good. and
So
what's pretty
maybe-
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Maybe-
Like Picasso does nothing for me, but so many people see Picasso and they're just like moved by it. And I
Sure.
see it and it does nothing for me.
Sure, but I'm not gonna say anything about him because I
Pollock
don't know
is
enough about him.
Kyle's
But
guy.
like, let's talk about people who are in the music industry, right? And they really push. They go out there. They work their butts off. They're going to the clubs. They're talking to people. They're meeting people. They're walking up to a record company and being like, "Hey, we're here. We exist."
Yeah. And then the right
Versus
person
people
just heard a
who
YouTube
exactly
video.
Justin Bieber. He's just out there on YouTube, and boom, Usher's like, "That kid's hot. Pick him up," and
Yeah.
he's blown up.
Mind you, that's the story that we know. We also don't know how much he's worked to get where he is.
Of course, we don't. I'm just giving an example. There
Yeah.
are plenty of people who they were on YouTube. There's
Rebecca
people who
Black.
get paid to just
Oh God.
make videos on YouTube that are not
people
even
who
that
get paid to
great.
do
Yeah.
podcasts.
Friday, gotta
Yeah.
get down on Friday. By the way, we're recording this on a Friday.
This group, huh?
No,
No, we don't get
So-
paid.
So I'm not getting
This
paid
is
at the
for
end
fun.
of this. All right. Okay.
No, but if you want,
with food,
if you want, I'll plug your stuff in the show notes.
we
Oh,
should
perfect.
totally
All
do
right.
that.
That's how we'll pay you. We'll pay you in
So maybe
sponsorship.
technology is more of the objective side of art. It's still art, but it's the objective side because it works or not. And then the
just like it
subjective
does with everything else.
way of art is how you use that technology.
But the truth is there's a group for everything. There's a niche for everything, right? And that's what it is. Like, there's some people who want the guy who's pouring his heart out. There's some people who want the guy who's just farting on screen.
Some people want Technicolor, some people want black and white.
And that's the truth. And that's
Everybody
always,
wants
and that's always
Technicolor.
going to be truth. And that's one thing that's great about technology is
You can get
it
it.
gives us the ability to, like, for example, TV. TV back in the day was all just a couple of channels that everybody had to watch because that's all that there was. So when you went to work the next week, it was
Everyone
always,
talked about
hey, did you see that show? Yeah, we saw that show. Of course we
course.
saw that show. Yeah, everything was great. Yeah, I
It
loved
was the
so much,
only
whatever.
show.
But that was the only show, exactly. But nowadays, it's like, hey, did you see The Walking Dead? No, I'm not watching The Walking Dead right now. I
I'm
got
not
like
into it.
16 other shows that I'm watching. I'm not even
Yeah.
on cable. I'm on Netflix. I'm on this. I'm on
Yeah.
Hulu. I'm what? I only
I don't-
watch anime. Like,
Whoa,
it's-
you're making
it's
my
all
mind
over the place.
like
I don't know about
We're
anyone
out right
else,
now.
It's become more colorful.
but I think that is beautiful. I think the freedom of choice is like that's what makes you a human, is that you get to choose. And yeah,
The only backdraw that I see with it, and I don't mean to be negative, but the only backdraw that I see with it, because I think it's amazing too, and I love it because I love the ability to go online and do whatever I want to do and enjoy myself and not have to conform to what everybody else wants. But as people, as humans, like when it comes down to nature and emotion and all that stuff, one of the biggest things in our lives is that we want to be relatable.
yeah, we want to connect.
We
We're
want to
communi-
connect. We want to have a connection. We want to be relatable. And it's hard sometimes when maybe your group is smaller or maybe you're not as capable of keeping up with what other people are keeping up with for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that's the only negativity that I see now with technology and everything that we've been talking about tonight is like, how do we stay connected in a world that is supposedly now more connected?
All right, that concludes our episode about technology. Tell us what you thought about it. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We got all that stuff. We'd like to know what you think. Maybe you want to suggest a new topic. And also, I'd like to give a big thanks to Stephen James for coming on. Ashley actually met him in film school, and they've stayed friends throughout. He writes some really great stuff. His Instagram is @SSaintJames. And he also has an album actually on iTunes and Spotify. It's called Excuse Me by Stephen James. Check that out. I'll link those two things in the show description if you're interested. Ashley actually did the photo for the cover, which by the way, if you want to check out my wife's photography, on Instagram it's @AshleyDeanPhotos, and on Facebook just search Ashley Dean Photography. We're going to end this one with our sponsor, so check it out.
babe, you know what I love?
What?
I love free sex
Me too.
with Candace and Katie.
That's weird.
I'm talking about the podcast.
Yeah, of course. The Free Sex Podcast is one of our sponsors. So basically how it got started was that they were having such terrible sex in their marriages and their husbands are so bad at it that they had to start a podcast and reach out to the world and ask, is it really this bad? I'm just kidding. I'm actually saying this because they sponsored us on their podcast and the husbands didn't even listen to our podcast and they were dogging it. They dogged our name and everything.
Dude,
So
they so dogged so hard.
yeah. So anyways, they actually don't even use their real names on there because they're so embarrassed. Their name's
yeah.
Daddy Magic and Mr. Big, and I think he changed his name to Mr. Tall or something like that.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm not caught up. So I don't even know that.
Anyways, they're really fantastic. I'm totally just joking around.
We're dogging too. They are.
This isn't just like an entertainment podcast. They talk about like very serious things like being cheated on and how to deal with that emotionally and within the relationship to keep the relationship going, or maybe should it end.
And all the way to oral and anal sex and what's the best way to do it and how to thrive from that. And I just think they go beyond the surface level. They go deep into the conversations, pun not intended. And it's a breath of fresh air, most definitely. Not only has it helped us, but it's helped me as an individual and making myself feel more comfortable and freed up to talk about these things. And yeah, they're amazing because the best sex
Is free.